I'm sure there's a million reasons that you've been telling yourself on why you're not achieving your goals. I'm sure you beat yourself up every single day. I should have left this job. I should have started that business. I should have left the relationship. I should have moved. I should have done A, B, and C. I should have went back to school. I should have. But you're not addressing the real problem at hand, which is that you don't believe in yourself. The reason why you can start these goals, you can start your winter arc, you can start the fast, you can start the 90 days, you can start the new year, new me. You could start all of that stuff and you feel really good about it. Like this is the time. But the reason why it's not long lasting or why you're not staying consistent is because somewhere along the way you stop believing that you deserve it. You stop believing that you can. You stop believing that you're worthy of more. You're worthy of achieving your dreams. You're worthy of that life that you want. Somewhere along the lines, on your fight, on your journey, you're giving up because the voices from the past is coming up. The traumatic situations that you haven't dealt with are finding their way. The negative voices that have been prevalent in your life start to become loud. Your voice starts to become small, and God's voice starts to become small. You have to address what's happening. You have to address what's actually holding you back. You have to address why you don't believe in yourself. And 9 times out of 10 is due to 3 reasons. One, unresolved past trauma, the negative voices of others in this world, and then comparison. The thief of comparison. And you may say, I heard it all before. Maybe you have. But maybe this time it'll hit home for you and you'll really realize how powerful these things are, how powerful unresolved trauma is when it shows up in your life, how it can stop you from living the life you deserve, how the voices of others eventually becomes your own, and how looking at others people's journey and think that it's going to look anything like yours is helpful. And not realizing that you actually don't want your journey to look like theirs. You want it to look so much different. That is very, very impactful. And you have to deal with that so that you can start believing in yourself. And that's what it's all about. It's about believing that you deserve this life simply because you're you and simply because you deserve it. That's it. So let's dive in. Trauma is an emotional response to an intense event. It changes the way we see the world. It changes us mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It changes us. What happens along the way if we've been through a traumatic childhood, if we've been through a traumatic relationship, if we've had a traumatic adult life, if something has happened to us physically, it changes the way we are. It literally changes our makeup, who we are as a person. You will never be the same person that you were before you've experienced trauma and after you experience it. So you must take it into consideration anything that you were trying to do, especially if you're trying to change yourself for the better or achieve a goal. Let me give you an example. If you grew up in a household where you were always put down, where everything that you tried to achieve just wasn't good enough, or it was discounted or dismissed, you think that's not staying with you as an adult? You may say, well, that was 20, 30, 40 years ago. But if you haven't addressed it, then it's still there. It's still as strong. Those voices from your childhood, those voices from that relationship, those voices even from your friendship sometimes become 10 times stronger than yours. 10 times stronger than God's voice. Your voice and God's voice becomes very small voices, and those voices are amplified. When I hear the ha ha ha, you'll never be that, is that me? Or can I trace that to an event, a memory that's tied to someone else in my life that caused me pain? Or even me saying that, is that triggering something in you? Where you're like, no, I know exactly who said that to me. But because that person is gone or you're no longer in that relationship or you grew up or time has just passed, you think it doesn't affect you anymore. But it's just grown with you. Those negative seeds that person planted in your spirit, in your life, in your emotions, and how you see yourself, it just grew with you and now it has roots. And we got to pull that stuff up. So that's probably one of the main reasons why you have not been able to achieve your goal, because you haven't addressed the trauma that you've experienced in your life. You can't ignore it. It's a part of you. It's not you. Let me say that again. It's a part of who you are. It's not who you are. And it's okay to say, yes, this is a part of me, but it's not me. We have to change the way we think about us. and be honest with ourselves that we're complicated and, we have a lot that comes with us. And that's what makes us beautiful. That's what makes us deserving. It's not what makes us not deserving. That's what makes us deserving. It's not the reason why we don't deserve it. It's the reason why we do. And you have to believe that everything you've been through, the fact that you're standing here today, the fact that you're able to watch this video, the fact that you're still ticking, the fact that you're still fighting for your life, no matter what age you are, is the reason why you're deserving. The fact that you never gave up. You may look at your life and say, sometimes I just get so down. I just don't believe it. I can't see it. I feel like I can barely just make it through the day. And that's the reason why I don't deserve it. But you're discounting. You're discounting those 2 or 3 days that you really say, I can do it, where you're speaking positively, where you're doing the research, where you're asking the questions, where you're planning. You're discounting what you are doing because the magnitude of what you are not has been magnified so much throughout your life that you're starting to magnify it. You don't do one thing and it's been magnified by other people throughout your life. So now you magnify it. You don't count the 5 or 6 days when you did incredible and you were amazing. No, because people in your life have heart on that one day that you didn't do something. Someone in your life have told you that you're not worthy. And so now you're using that as a reason why you don't deserve a beautiful life. But those are all reasons why you do. We have to start thinking different. We just have to start thinking different, y'all. And the second reason is other people. And I'm not saying people that you've experienced in life. I'm saying people online. People that you actually don't have a relationship with. You're watching videos of people talk about other people and tear people down. You're spending time ingesting what's not a good business, what you should be doing, how you should be showing up. And you're saying, well, I'm not showing up like that, so then I'm not doing it right. So then I don't know what I'm doing. I don't deserve my dream. The way I want to do it is not what people say. People say, let's say, for example, people say, don't start that business. Don't start that food truck. There's a million of them. It's so hard. Everything is so hard. Or if you don't have 1, 2, 3, or 4, then you shouldn't be starting a business. Or if you don't have this, you shouldn't be doing that. If you're not this perfect version of yourself, you shouldn't be in a relationship. We live in a world where everybody has opinion about everything. But there are still some people achieving. There's still a lot of people achieving their goals. And one of the main reasons is they stop taking advice from people they don't know. I'm not saying there's not good, valuable advice, but you should not be ingesting any advice that says you shouldn't do something. They don't know you. They don't know what God has planned for you. We do hear like, keep everything to yourself. Don't tell anybody. And I get it. But there's also comes a time where you have to start screaming it from the rooftop and not care what anybody has to say. You want to start a YouTube? Oh, there's a million YouTubes, and now there's going to be 1,000,001, and 1,000,002, and 1,000,003. Oh, you want to be an influencer? There's a million. Oh, yes, there's a million of them. So why can't I be one of them? Oh, you want to go back to school and change your career all of a sudden? Yeah, I do. Who moves to New York? Who moves to Florida? Who moves to Texas all of a sudden? Who just moves in the middle of their life, just picks up their life and moves and nothing's in order? Who just does this? Who? You. Or hey, let's make it personal. Me. I'm the person who's gonna pick up and move. I'm gonna start the YouTube. Yep, it's me right here. Who does that? Me. Who says that? Me. Ooh, I would never. You're right. You would never. That's why I'm doing it. That's what we're talking about. Me. I'm doing it. You would never. Me. It's very personal. So when you are listening to stuff and you're saying, oh man, this is making me feel like I can't turn it off. When you're talking to your friends, and now some friends are supportive, but when you're talking to people and they're not giving you what you need, that's okay. How can they understand a vision for your life when they never had a vision for themselves? Y'all gonna hear me always say this. People can't pour into you with something from an empty well. People can't give you what they don't have. They can't give you hope. They can't give you fire and passion for life if they don't have it for themselves. That's just how it works. They just don't have it to give. And you got to stop going to look. That wells run dry and you know it. Stop trying to go and get water there. And with that, when we're looking at other people and we're taking advice from people online, another thing that's happened is that we're looking at how other people did it. We're saying, well, they're pumping out, like, for instance, they're pumping out 3 videos a week. I don't have 3 videos in me right now. I got one strong video and a short, and that's what I'm going to give. And you may be looking at how people are just doing what they do. Oh my goodness, you know what? I want to start a business doing this, and people are marketing on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat. And what do you need to do? What feels right for you? Submit that to God. What is God telling you to do? That's why it's so important to have a relationship with God, because He's the only person that can really help you achieve your goals. You're going to need Him as you're working through your trauma. You're going to need Him to stop hearing others' voices and to dissect theirs from yours and yours from His. You're going to need Him on this journey. That's why it's important to spend time with Him. I'm going to spend 30 days getting to know God. We're going to be God and me. So look for the video. That's what I'm going to be doing, because I need Him on this journey to help me realize when my trauma is leading me, to realize when I'm listening to voices that aren't mine or is mine and not His, and to stop comparing my journey to others. And let me say this, I bet that when you actually think about what your journey is, you don't want it to be others. You don't want it to look like theirs. You may want pieces of it. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying, that person's an inspiration. Okay. And now you do it your way. You figure out what it looks like for you. Because you're deserving. Remember, we talked about it. Your trauma is not you. It's a part of you. Your journey won't look like other people's. It shouldn't. You don't want it to. We got to remember who we are. We got to remember what we want. We got to remember that we're unique and we can really experience life how we want to experience it. But we can't do that if we don't believe in ourselves. And we can't believe in ourselves unless we address what's happening along the way. Because I guarantee you that if you actually are working towards something, what's happening is not that you can't begin, it's that you're not staying consistent. Because when things are getting hard, those voices are getting louder and louder. Those past experiences, you're looking at other people's journey and said, well, they've made it by now. And that's becoming louder and louder and louder. So you have to remember at the beginning that I'm going into something that's unique to me, and it's going to happen for me no matter what happens along the way. And guess what? I already have been through so much that I definitely have the resilience for this journey. So the trauma, other people's words, the comparison trap, all of that stuff that's happening is causing you to not believe in yourself. And we have to work on understanding how that stuff is impacting us so that we can acknowledge it, deal with it, and move forward. Because it's all about moving forward. It's all about you believing that you're worthy. It's all about getting the life you want today, simply because you deserve it. Nothing else. Nothing else, literally. You can achieve your dreams because you want to. And they're your dreams. And you deserve it. That's it. That's it for today.